Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Micks Mowers, and today's episode we're going to be taking a little look at a Honda Izzy lawnmower which I stripped out previously. That's since been done, but I have the old engine which I have had starting. I want to try and fit it to another deck. I've had a big mount filled up the top of a garden, a 21-inch cut for a little while now. I'm hoping it's going to fit. If it does fit, then we could be on a winner here, have a nice big mount filled with a Honda Izzy Honda engine on top. And I hope that can go out and get sold pretty soon. That'd be pretty good. If this is the first time you're watching Micks Mowers, hit the old subscribe button, whack the old bell, set notifications to all, and that will tell you about one, I'll either listen to another video, or two, I'm on my weekly Saturday night live stream. So without further ado, let's get down and dirty. Let's check out this little Honda Izzy lawnmower and see if we can't put it on this mount field. Right, here's a little Honda Izzy. I've got a SV200 engine which is over here, and I want to measure the shaft on this once I've taken the boss off of this one, purely because I don't want to have to strip it to begin with to find out it doesn't actually fit. So I need to check the distance first. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this up on the axle stand that I've got, and I'll try and extract the pulley off of the bottom of the boss, and then measure that shaft. And if the shaft is the correct size, then there's no reason why then we can't at least fit this engine to the mount field. So let me grab a puller and a bolt, and we'll start to extract this this boss off. Right, I've sprayed some stuff underneath it just to try and loosen it up. I've got a high tensile bolt here with a hole punched in it, so that should go up into there. And clamp that on so it all grips. And start to bring that down. It's not an easy thing to do because it's not wanting to grip in all the areas, because the boss is a bit of a funny shape. Oh, that's on there. Oh, that's on. I think that's got there. Let's try and nick that up a touch. See how we get on. Oh, that's on. Let me get a pry bar. Pry against. Let's see what happens. A bit of a whack with a hammer. Just to try and loosen it up, break the seal. Bit more spray. It's under a bit of tension now. I might apply a bit of heat to it as well. It's going to take a bit of time to get this off, so I might have to come back to you when I'm a bit closer. But this is the method I use. Pulley, prise bar. Every time I can get a turn on it, it is moving. I'm hoping so. It's going to take a while. So I'll come back to you in 2 ticks once I've got it off. That's how you do that. That was well on there. I'll get that bolt out now, which should be no easy task in itself, because it's probably a bit bent in there, but it shouldn't have touched the thread. So hopefully now that's off, we can at least measure the shaft to see what that's doing. It's not looking too bad at the moment. We shall see. Then let's extract the bolt off, and then we'll go from there. Right, bolt's now off. I just had to nip it with the old impact gun to get that off, and now the boss is off. Now I want to measure the shaft from, let me spin it around, from the base of the engine to the end of the shaft, and then the same on that SV, and then we'll see if this is actually compatible or not. It may all be for nothing, but we shall see when I get to it, because this has got to have a pulley put on top as well yet to incorporate the drive. Right, there is a difference of about ½ an inch, but I'm going to continue because these decks are completely different, and it may be that this engine sits lower down and this engine sits higher compared to the actual base of the design of the deck. So this is slightly raised. I can put my hand underneath here, whereas I wouldn't be able to on the SV200. So we shall see. I'm going to continue anyway for now, and now I'm going to take the engine off, which should be some little tiny 13mm bolts in there. What are they on there? They're 14s. Should be a 13 on these. Yeah, 13s. So let me grab my impact gun again. Zip this engine off. I mean, if it's not, then literally this will just be a spare engine to put on someone else. But we shall see. So let me whip these off very quickly. And this is why having an impact makes all the difference. That's stuck in the old socket. And grab a quick punch just to punch that out. I won't know until I actually fit this to the lawnmower deck, because it's got to incorporate the boss and everything else yet, so we shall see. Doesn't seem to be doing a lot, that one doesn't. Let's see if it's actually turning or not. No, it's not turning at all. Might be rounded off, that one. It is, we have a problem. Dirt in there. Let me just clean that one out a touch. Right, I got that off in the end. It's a 13mm, but I had to smash a 12mm on top of it. It's been rounded off previously by whoever had it off. It didn't take a lot of physics to get it off. Not as much physics as it will take to get this punch out of the socket now I've got it stuck in there. You get a thinner punch. Okay, so I've got that bolt out now. I had to put a 12mm socket over the top of it and give it a bit of love to get it off. But it wasn't doing it. I'll fix my table too, a bit loose. I've got some engine bolts, 3 or 4 of them. But now the engine can come off. I'll have a bit of a tidy up. I'll come back and then we'll offer this to the new engine or to the new deck to see how it fits. It may all be for nothing, as I say, but it's definitely worth a go. Right, I've got the new the donor deck up now. This is one that originally had the fast running SV200. I've just been sat idle up the top of the garden for a little while. So here's the engine that's going to go on it, if it'll all fit. That should all line up generically anyway, which it does. So happy with that. Bit of oil coming out now, but we can get all around that. Just want to sort of see where it all sits in comparison, because it's got to have a blade boss on it and the drive pulley assembly as well. That's all got to go on there. And then once I bolt the engine down to it first, I can then tip this lawnmower back, fit the pulleys, assemblies and the bosses to see whereabouts the blade comes. Ideally I want the blade to be about ½ an inch inside the deck. It can't be below the deck because that would be no good at all. Let's just take the air filter out. I expect that's no good. No air filter in there. There you go, just as well. Okay. So I'll screw it down, I'll go and get the pulley assembly and then I'll come back once I've got the pulley assembly ready to go on. Right, I've got the lawnmower up on its side. It's not in the best of positions. I want it to be as far over as possible really, without it falling over. It's going to be about there. That's going to spill some oil, that I'm aware of. But again, not overly concerned, it's going to be sat up for a little while. So I've got some bits and pieces here. These are bits and pieces that come off of the original SV200. I've got a drive. I need to remove this keyway. That's got to come out. And then this is the original keyway that goes on, which fits on there like a treat. It might be a little bit too big, but what I can possibly do is measure the distance between the old boss and the new boss. I've got a brand new blade for it as well. Just going to sit there, and that is just over the deck, but that's not all the way up yet, so I'm hoping that that will incorporate once I've given it a bit of a gentle tap on. So this key's got to come out first, so on a flat-headed driver we'll punch. A bit of bolted chisel style punch would do it best, just to remove that key. A bit of tapping. First of all, just bang the key down on the back edge and then put the bolster underneath it, and out it comes, and don't lose it. And then I've got this little tiny drive system. I'm guessing, it is a guess, it's going to go that way, all the way up, over the first keyway loop and onto the second. I'll do a bit of filing, there's a lot of dirt on there, and then there's a little grub screw that fits through there and into the second keyway to hold it still. So a bit of filing, a bit of sanding down, and I'll come back. Okay, a bit of a clean off. That's had a wire brush treatment. I'll get a bit of copper slip, which I have, which smells like old pants. So I've got some copper slip here, which my mate Pete gave me. He said he'd give me a pretty much full tin. It smells like old pants, if you ask me. That's what it smells like. Not that my pants smell like this, but it's just got that rotten smell. So, nice big generous helping of the old slip, and that'll just aid the next person if they need to take this boss off, because it is a bit of a bugger if you don't treat these. It just helps. A bit of that, and now hopefully this pulley system will now go on up and onto the second keyway, which it does. Bit of a tap. That's about as far as I want it to go. I've got a little tiny grub screw to put in, and that'll hold it into the keyway position, which is actually a little bit too far than what I needed it. About that. A little tiny grub screw in there. I'll do a grub screw up and I'll come back to you. Okay, that's the grub screw done up. This will try and fish this belt and put it back over the back pulley on the drive. Just sort of done blindly. There it is. And then up and over onto this drive pulley. So that's fitted. That's it. I've got a cover for this, I think, somewhere. So that's all on. So now I've got a choice of two bosses to fit. Now, one is extremely deep, and one is about half the depth. So let's put a bit more copper slip on because it needs to be correct. I'm going to go for the original preference over the Honda Izzy one. So plenty of copper slip on, more than what I would normally put on, because this may have to come back off again yet. I'm going to go for the original boss, and if I can get that to go up enough, that should then give me enough distance to clear the bottom of the deck with the blade. So let's bring this round so I find the keyway. It's going to be about there. Put the Woodruff key back in and give that a bit of a gentle tap so it's in place. And now, my power grayskull, that's going to go on. He says. It may not. That's already striking the bottom. I think. Now it needs to catch in the keyway onto the onto the boss, otherwise it's going to be no good. It's got to catch that keyway. It's caught it there. If I turn that, I can turn the whole assembly, you see. So that's that one. Let me try for preference to see if that goes up any higher. Over top of that. Again, it may have a bit of a clean because this has been coming off. So that's going to go all the way. That's going to go pretty much all the way up there. I would say this one might do. Let me try and tap that boss all the way up. Give me 2 ticks. I'll get a bit of a clean. Just trying to push the Woodruff key out, you see. At the same time, I'll get a bit of a clean up, and I'll come back to you once I've done that. Because it should. I don't know if that key's actually been struck. Yeah, it has. Look. That key's been struck. See that groove? That's why it's off-centered. So I'm going to put a new key in there. 2 ticks, just spotted that. And that might be why originally that other boss doesn't want to go up. So let me find one that fits. I've got a whole box full of Woodruff keys here. That's a little bit sloppy. That's perfect. That's a kiddie. That goes in the shaft. I would like to keep the original boss. That's in. That's better. That's going to go up. Where does that blade sit? There. So that blade's going to sit too far down. So that's no good. So we need to use this one, which looks like it's a deeper blade, a deeper boss, and that woodwork key fits in there lovely. Does it fit on a blade? Yeah, it will do. Let's put that into there. Let's try and line that up without it pushing that woodwork key out. There it goes. Somewhere there. Bit of a gentle tap of persuasion. And that's now going all the way up past the key. And that's levelled out. So now I'm hoping, look at that, perfect. That's going to sit about ½ inch just inside the deck. So that is absolutely bang on. The holes, do they line up? Not quite, but I could drill the boss to make these holes fit so it stays centrifugally, but the hole is not that much different to the bolt hole. That's going to sit quite tight on there. So let me get the bolt hole and the bolt to fit in the blade. I think is actually that one there. I think that go in there. Not really. I can try and feed it in. Let's see what happens. This has got a bit of a countersunk washer to hold it centrifugally. You see. I'll try and put that up in there. See if that'll help. Be about 13 mil, I'd say 13 to 14 mil. Be a 14. And they are normally. Grab a socket and a ratchet. Bits of tools flying everywhere. I've got so many projects on at the moment, it's not even funny. So much stuff on. Let's see if I can get that just to run in there. See if that's the right one. That's running. I'm not convinced that's the right one. I need to find the one off a Honda Izzy, I think. Where's my Honda Izzy box of bits I had right in front of me? That's it there, that looks different. Yeah, that's a 14 mil. I think I've found the right one. That's not off of this one. I think that's off the SV200 and the threads are slightly different. And what I don't want to be doing is smashing the threads up on this shaft. If we do, game over. Start to chase the threads as it was. Let's try that one. See if that holds any better. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the kitty. Just going to run these threads in. Go all the way up. Bit of WD-40 in there to clean the threads out. And the advantage of this is a slightly thicker bolt. That's tight. Good. Put the threads in there. Run them threads back out. And then that will hold that blade exactly central to where it needs to be. So let me fit the blade up. The blade is brand new, so it doesn't need sharpening. And then we'll tip it back on its side and we'll try and plumb in the rest to see if we can't get this little Honda Izzy to run. And then that way we might have got a lawnmower, which the engine was no good originally. I think I paid about £5 for this one. A donut engine, which I came as part of another project. Two together, and got one running. Right, I put the handles up. Found some donut parts for that, and I'm going to put a new filter in here. I'll do an oil change. So I have had the engine running to a fashion, but until I get it all set up properly, I won't know what it's actually doing. So that's a drive cable. I've got enough of the throttle. Let's bring my dead man down. It's going to be this one. Put that onto there. that may need some adjustment, possibly. Let's have a look. Oh no, I've got plenty of throttle on there. Happy with that. So what we've got here, we've got a little tiny throttle, a Phillips screwdriver, which I should have one to hand. I had one yesterday. There's one. I need to sort that out on my bench. That's a certainty. I might do that after I try and get this one running. We're going to take this screw out and we're going to set this carburetor. Now again, someone asked recently in a video how to set a carburetor. So at the moment the flap is open on this carburetor. Okay, let me show you exactly what I mean. It's very simple to do. So all you do is inside here you see, you can see in there, you get a torch. There's one. So inside the carburetor, a little tiny flap, you seeing that in there? See it? A little tiny flap. Well, that is open. Well, ideally, what you want, I'm just trying to do is cack-handed. What you want is that flap to be closed, which is like that. Okay, all the way closed. So there's a difference. Open, closed. Okay, and that's done by pulling this lever back. That's choke, that's off choke. So all you do to set this, back, bring it a bit closer. All you do to set this is you hook up your throttle cable into the right position, which is there. You get your cable fastener, that goes into its normal housing. There it is. Just put it in there loosely for now, you're not concerned about it for a minute, just put it in and just get it started. Okay, now at the top of the throttle control, the actual lever, you want to set that all the way to choke, okay, which is all the way at the top, and then leave it set to choke. Okay, now that will not move anything here or here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to mimic this opening up, which is by pulling this lever all the way back into the choked position, which is nearly there. That's it there, that's where it needs to be. So when you've got it pulled all the way back, as far as it will go, might get a bit more out of it yet. That's choke. That flap is now shut. You can now do that up. By doing that up, nice and secure. Sorry for knocking you. That is now, that flap here is now shut. Okay, and when you take it off a choke onto full revs, flap should be wide open. And when you bring it all the way down to idle, yeah, it's still open. And then when you put it back onto choke, that flap is now shut. I don't think I can get any more out of that if I tried. I might get a bit more. Let me bring you guys back a bit, save knocking you. So it needs to be set right. And you want it as far back as you can physically get it. It's going to be there, that's perfect. Nice and tight. Yeah, that's now fully choked. Okay, and that's how you set your choke. So we're done with dead man's handle. The choke is now done. The drive's already hooked up anyway. I'm going to take the oil out of this machine because I'm not sure what the oil's doing, what it's done, or anything. Bearing in mind that this engine was sold because the deck had gone. So I don't think there's actually a lot wrong with this engine, full stop. Let's see what the oil is doing. It's now been sat on its wheels for a good half an hour. It's about halfway on these Hondas. So the oil is about halfway. There's some faults that you should do the oil check just by doing that, which is halfway, and there's some faults that you should screw it all the way in. Now you're supposed to do it just by dipping it in on the Hondas, otherwise it'll be over top. Okay, so that's actually about halfway, so that's enough to run it. So I'm going to run it with all that's in it. So we get a bit of a clean, bit of a spruce, and put a new air filter in, and we're going to try and run this engine as it is. And if the engine runs to a good fashion, then we do an oil change and all that sort of stuff afterwards. But let's put a new air filter in so it's sucking the right amount of air. I've got left 4 air filters left. Need to order some more up. Soon got through that box of 20. Brand new air filter goes in. I'll check the spark plug in a minute. Air filter cover needs a bit of a clean up because that's got oil absolutely all over it. So let me clean that up. I'll come back. Right, air filter goes in. That does that as it should do. I'll take the spark plug out. What's that, NGK in there? See what that's doing. Oh, got a tap. It may even be hydro locked because it's been tipped up on its side. Plug looks brand new. This is VA BPRS. Yeah, the plug ain't too bad at all actually. I'll run with that, give it a bit of a clean, and I'll run with that. So I'll clean the plug up and then take it outside. We'll give it a run. I don't know what the fuel's like. I have to look at that in a minute. See if it starts, see if the drive works, and see if we haven't saved another little lawnmower. Right, let's see how we look. Got to do the old petrol. Got so many projects on at the moment. It's crazy. Found the grass box to it. That was in the shed. Let's bring it down here. Now it may smoke a bit because it has been tipped up. Let's just zoom in a smidge as well. There you go. Let's check the old fuel. Oh, for that. That's handy, Harry. Right. HT is on. It was on. Turn the fuel on. Let's see how we get on. Hopefully it'll start and run. Nothing. Nada. Not a peep. Let's turn, see that fuel wants coming down a bit. It may be have to wait a few seconds to let that fuel come down. You take that off for a minute. Carb spray. Bit of this, bit of that, take it off the choke. See what happens now. Had a bit of oil in the carburetor and what have you. So let me get my my little hook just so I can hold the timer back, hold the old handle back, and we'll go for a refire. Choke. little mount filled now, up and running, and I'm super impressed. It wants an oil change. It wants a new plug. That's a definite. It's got a little bit of mist to it. I might even check the valves as well. It's not starting difficultly. Just initially, it's been tipped up. A lot of oil inside that carburetor originally, so that's why I didn't want to start. But it's now starting as it should do. It idles absolutely sweetly and cuts beautifully as well. Brand new blade on there as well. So super happy. That little lawnmower, it came in as part of a job lot from what I remember. It had the SV200 engine on it. There's a video on it on my playlist with the SV200 was over revving, and that's only got a 4.5 horsepower on there, but it runs sweet and pushes that mower along lovely. So that should make someone a very nice little mower if they wish to buy it. If this is your first time in watching Micks Mowers, don't forget to hit the old subscribe button and whack the old bell, set notifications to all. That way it'll tell you that either I've released a video or I'm in fact on my Saturday night weekly live stream between 6 and 10ish. If you did enjoy this video, then give it a thumbs up and show your appreciation. It helps towards the growth of my channel. And also any comments you got, don't forget to stick them down below next to my Amazon wishlist. But until then, people, don't forget, more importantly, take her easy.